This is the Buffett Mindset channel where we practice patience and calm wealth building daily. If you enjoy these types of videos, consider liking and subscribing. This will mean a lot to the channel. When the night falls and the noise of the world begins to fade, that is when the real build begins. Men think the day is their chance to create, but the truth is the day only reveals what the night has already decided. The mind never stops working, it only changes form. When you sleep, your body rests, but your subconscious builds. It is a tireless worker, a loyal craftsman shaping tomorrow from the blueprints you hinted tonight. That is why the wealth of a man is not determined by how he spends his days, but by what he whispers in the dark. The last thought before you sleep is not just a thought, it is a command. The conscious mind may fade with fatigue, but the subconscious never turns off the light. It'll labor through the hours of silence, creating more of whatever you left it to ponder. So I ask you, what have you been instructing it to build? Have you been handing it worry, or have you been handing it wealth? Buffett knew this law long before it was spoken. He doesn't talk about it much, but if you study the rhythm of his life, you'll see it: clarity before bed, focus before dawn. He ends each night with order in his thoughts and begins each morning with order in his plans. That not coincidence, it compounds money. He compounds mindset, while others end their evenings with noise, scrolling, complaining, drifting. He ends his with intention. The subconscious, faithful in a servant, spends the night multiplying that order, and that is why he rises each morning with ideas sharper than fear, calmer than doubt. The same is true for you if you learn to speak with command before sleep. The mind obeys authority, not emotion. It doesn't care if you're tired, doubtful, or distracted. It only obeys the tone you give it. That's why repetition is so powerful. Tell yourself something often enough and with enough certainty, the subconscious begins to treat it as fact. And when it believes, it builds. Buffett never said maybe, spoke in absolutes, like invest in what I understand and not lose money. Or read until the odds are in my favor. These were not preferences, they were laws. Each night before you sleep, you must do the same. Replace uncertainty with declaration. Replace hesitation with command. Say to yourself, my mind attracts opportunities effortlessly. My decisions compound with precision. My wealth grows while I rest. Say it slowly, deliberately, like a man handing sacred instructions to his builder, because that's exactly what you're doing. Most men waste the night by feeding their subconscious chaos. They fall asleep to the flicker of screens, to the voices of strangers, to the echoes of fear disguised as news. They hand their subconscious confusion and then wake up wondering why their lives lapse direction. You cannot rise above the quality of your last thought. Your life is the sum of your nightly instructions. The rich are not lucky, they are deliberate. Buffett doesn't feed his mind junk before rest. He doesn't let noise enter that sacred hour between wakefulness and sleep. That when the bridge is open, when the mind is most malleable, when belief can be molded like clay. You must guard that hour, or if your future depends on it, because it does. You might think it sounds mystical, but this is no magic. It's mathematics of the mind. The subconscious is like fertile soil.
What you plant dating multiplies what you give.
If you plant weeds of worry, grows confusion. If you plant seeds of faith, grows fortune. The law is impartial, exact, and relentless.
Buffett didn't invent this law. He simply obeyed that. He planted thoughts of clarity, discipline, and patience every night, and life had no choice but to reflect those qualities back. You can do the vein.
When your head touches the pillow, refuse to replay mistakes. Refuse to nurse fears.
Instead, declare your aim, and though it were already accomplished, whisper your wealth into existence, not as the words have power, but as the repetition builds belief, and belief builds results.
It's easy to see the patterns when you know what to look for.
Every great builder of fortune, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Rockefeller, understood this truth in their own way. They didn't let their final thoughts drift. Ford once said he fell asleep imagining engines running smoother, faster, stronger. Edison closed his eyes not to rest, but to visualize light piercing darkness. Buffett ends his nights reviewing value, patience, and clarity, not numbers, but principles. That's why his wealth feels inevitable, not accidental. The men who end their nights with vague hope wake up to vague results. The men who end their nights with exact declarations wake up to exact opportunities. The subconscious does not interpret, it executes. So hand it blueprints of certainty. The trick is not to feel it first, but to repeat it until it becomes real. Feeling follows faith, and faith follows repetition. You don't need to believe every word at first. You just need to say them like a man giving orders. Over time, your mind will stop questioning and start obeying. The way Buffett thinks about money, and that how you must think about that. He doesn't ask the market for permission. He tells it where to serve him. You must learn to do the same with your mind. Before you sleep, command it an empire, not a suggestion box. Tell it, I am surrounded by opportunity. I attract the right people. I multiply the right ideas. I rest knowing my wealth is in motion. Say it with calm authority, not desperation. The mind responds to conviction, not volume. And you make this practice your nightly ritual, you'll begin to notice changes. Not in the world, but in how the world responds to you. You'll wake up with solutions where you used to have worries. You'll find your decisions aligning more naturally with your goals. You'll stop chasing money, but money begin to move toward your stability. That's the quiet miracle of mental reprogramming. It doesn't shout, it compounds. Buffett fortune didn't arrive all at once. It grew invisibly, quietly, persistently, the same way your thoughts are, unlike compound interest. The longer you remain consistent, the more exponential your returns. But remember, this isn't something you do once, it's something you become. Buffett doesn't have a night routine. His entire life is a routine of principle. You must reach that point too. Discipline stops feeling like duty and starts feeling like identity. When the voice in your head no longer argues with the affirming you speak, you have crossed the threshold. You will have become one with your own command. The subconscious won't resist you anymore because it recognizes you as its rightful master. That is the moment your nights begin. Build what your days were once too weak to hold. You lie down, the lights go out. Do not leave your mind idle. The world sleeps, but your architect does not. Whisper your blueprint calmly and clearly. My fortune was forming. My peace is permanent. My wealth is certain. Repeat it until your breath slows and your mind accepts. Then rest. Not a man escaping his day, but the one building his tomorrow. Because while others dream by accident, you will dream by design. There is an invisible order to the night, and the men who understand it never sleep poor. The body may drift, but the spirit listens. Every cell in you, every strand of your being obeys the direction of the mind, and when the conscious mind grows silent, the subconscious begins to translate thought into architecture. You are building while you dream, constructing realities brick by brick through belief. Buffett knew this instinctively. While others drifted to sleep burdened with fear, he fell into slumber guided by clear conviction. He did not surrender his final thoughts to doubt or fatigue. He guided them with precision. He knew that the mind's last command or rest becomes the soul's first motion upon waking, and that why his calm and chaos, his patience and volatility, his ability to move when others freeze, it all began not in the boardroom but in the quiet moments born sleep. You see, the mind before rest is like a gate left unguarded. It will accept whatever enters. If you are not deliberate, it will accept everything: worry from the day, fear from the news, the voices of others echoing in your head. That's why most men wake up weary, even after 8 hours of sleep. Their bodies rested, but their minds spent the night building the wrong house. Beware of our wormy storm on the text. Go assume the ice cleanses that have them live for the eyes closed. Turn your mind toward abundance, not anxiety. Do not lie in bed replaying what went wrong. Rewrite it instead. Speak wealth though it already breathes in you. Whisper your intentions as though they were memories, not wishes. The subconscious cannot tell the difference. It will take your word law. Every empire, every fortune, every revolution began in the unseen chamber of a single night thought. Men like Ford, Edison, and Carnegie didn't simply work harder, they dreamed differently. They spoke their desires into the dark until the dark began to echo them back. Buffett carries that same legacy. He spends his waking hours making sound investments, but his richest deposits happen when the world grows still. His faith compounds while others' fears decay.
That is the quiet advantage of a man who understands that the universe listens most closely in silence. So speak with care. Your words are not bedtime stories. They are blueprints handed to eternity.
Now, when the secret few learn your subconscious doesn't speak language, it speaks emotion. Words are only vehicles. So when you erode wealth, you must feel it. Don't just say, I am rich. Feel the calm confidence of a man who knows his accounts are overflowing. Don't just whisper, I am a bud. Feel the gratitude of one who already lives surrounded by proof. Buffett does this effortlessly, though he might never say so. He lives as wealth were inevitable, because to him it is. His thoughts don't plead, they instruct. He doesn't wish for good fortune, he expects alignment. The mind that expects abundance creates systems that ensure it.
Each night, your task is not to beg your future, it is to brief it. Approach sleep. Dave Buffett approaches an annual report with clarity, precision, and command. Go over your day not to criticize, but to reinforce. Every win, no matter how small, must be recorded. Every lesson, no matter how painful, must be reframed. The mind remembers what you reinforce. When you fall asleep grateful, your subconscious translates that gratitude into direction. Gratitude is not but a feeling, it's a magnetic field that attracts more reasons to be thankful. Buffett called gratitude for simplicity, his love for his same modest home, his same breakfast, his same quiet life, is its smallness, its mastery. He discovered that gratitude and growth are not opposites. They are the same act viewed from different ends of time. The men who neglect this nightly ritual live like gamblers, waking each day unsure whether fortune will favor them.
The man who commands his sleep lives like a farmer certain that his crop will grow because he planted deliberately. You must stop gambling with your nights. Stop drifting into sleep with your thoughts unguarded. Speak your truth into the darkness until it becomes the dawn. Tell your mind what to build and it obey. Say it not at a desperate wish, but at a declaration of ownership. I am the architect of my wealth. I am the creator of my fortune. I am the master of my mind. Say it a king giving orders to his kingdom. Because your subconscious, once instructed, will move the heavens and the earth to fulfill those words. You must also understand the difference between repetition and ritual. Repetition is mechanical. Ritual is sacred. Don't repeat affirming like a machine. Seek them like a man consecrating his destiny. Turn off every screen, every sound. When he lets come and me always word, I'm in the lucky to tell my wealth. I am the creator of my fortune. I am the master of my mind. Say it a king giving orders to his kingdom. Because your subconscious, once instructed, will move the heavens and the earth to fulfill those words. You must also understand the difference between repetition and ritual. Repetition is mechanical. Ritual is sacred. Don't repeat affirming like a machine. Seek them like a man consecrating his destiny. Turn off every screen, every sound.
Sit in the silence of your own authority. Let the rhythm of your breath sync with the rhythm of your voice. When you say, my riches are certain due to rush, let the words settle into the soil of your subconscious. You are not programming a device, you are planting eternity. The subconscious responds not to speed, but to sincerity. Buffett quiet discipline, the way he repeats his principles without deviation, is the essence of ritual. Every decision he makes echoes his creed. You must make your nightly declarations the same way, not a novelty, but a necessity. When you begin to practice this consistently, you'll feel the shift. The night will no longer be a place of anxiety, but of alignment. You'll lie down not in exhaustion, but in purpose. You'll stop fearing the next day because you'll know it already built.
Buffett sleeps in peace, not because he has money, but because his mind is settled. His wealth is not his comfort, his clarity is. He ends each night with stillness because he knows stillness is what multiplies strength. When you end your day with certainty, you begin the next with direction. And that direction is the compass of the wealthy mind. Remember this always, you cannot wake up rich if you fall asleep poor in spirit. The state of your last thought is the seed of your next reality. Speak abundance, live abundance. Speak gratitude, live peace. Speak clarity, live order. Say this before you sleep every night without fail. I am guided by intelligence beyond measure. My mind is my greatest investment. My wealth is inevitable. My peace is proof. Say it until belief becomes breathing. Say it until your subconscious stops asking for evidence and starts producing it.
Because one day you'll wake to find that what once felt like affirmation has become autobiography. You'll look around at the life you built, the calm, the confidence, the abundance, and realize it was all designed in the dark. Every fortune begins with faith spoken in silence. Every kingdom is built while the world sleeps. Tonight, your construction begins. They're a sacred power that lives in the night, the power of quiet creation, the secret workshop of kings. Every great empire that existed began with a single man lying awake under the soft hum of his own heartbeat, daring to think thoughts greater than his surroundings. The poor man believes his mind shuts down at midnight. The rich man knows that midnight is when the mind begins to speak. The hours when the world is silent belong to the few who know how to listen. Buffett listens. Every decision that seems effortless in daylight was first formed in darkness, when his thoughts had the stage all to themselves. He ends his day the same way he begins it, by taking inventory of his inner kingdom. What he allows to linger before rest becomes tomorrow instruction. He doesn't fall asleep by chance. He descends into it like a man entering a cathedral. The act of sleeping for him is not rest but ritual. When you learn to see the night that way, everything changes. The bed is no longer where the day dies, it's where the future is conceived. You will start to approach those final moments, not those a release, but at a return to your true self, the one who is freed from distraction, stripped of the noise, stripped of the opinions of others. That is where you speak directly to the engine of creation within you. Buffett genius isn't born in numbers or formulas, it's born in stillness. His fortune began then a pattern of thought rehearsed so deeply that it became reflex. He trained his subconscious to think in terms of patience, value, and long-term return. Those weren't business principles, they were a firm mean. Each night before the world slept, he rehearsed the same inner script: hold steady, see clear, act with conviction. The world calls it genius, or as obedience to his own rules of wealth. If you want to live like that, you must begin where he began, in the silence of thought before sleep. That when your conscious mind stops interrupting your own greatness. During the day, you negotiate with yourself, question your ideas, hesitate. At night, those barriers fade. The subconscious listens without argument. It takes every word literally. If you end your day muttering, "I can't do this," it writes that into the blueprints of your future. If you end your day whispering, "I am unstoppable," it builds systems sons you that make it true. The mind doesn't care what you plant. It will grow whatever you give it. But if you plant doubt, do not curse the harvest. The subconscious is innocent. It simply obeys. Buffett's discipline was not just an investment. It was in thought hygiene. He never handed his mind rotten instruction. You must become the sage. And if in that gentle Bethune fail, they treat their inner voice vape background noise, when in truth it's the architect of their world. You speak hundreds of small sentences to yourself every night without realizing their power. "I'm so tired I'll never catch up." "Tomorrow going to be hard." Each is a contract written in the language of energy. You sign these contracts with your attention, and once signed, your subconscious begins its work. Buffett signs no such contracts. His nightly words are few, but they're all binding in the destiny of abundance. He says nothing that contradicts his creed. His silence between sentences is wealth in itself, because it allows space for belief to take root. Your mind needs that same space. Before sleep, clear the noise. Speak only what you intend to live. Then let silence finish the sentence. The world tells you to hustle harder, to stay awake longer, to grind through exhaustion. But Buffett knows better. True wealth is not built by endless motion. It's built by fake instruction. The mind that never rests becomes a servant to chaos. The man who rests with direction becomes a master of creation. Every night is an opportunity to program the algorithm that runs your reality. That why Buffett doesn't go to bed anxious about what tomorrow holds. It has already decided what tomorrow will be. His thoughts before sleep are not questions, they're confirmed man. He rehearses gratitude like a composer rehearsing harmony. Gratitude for clarity, for time, for opportunity. That vibration of gratitude sends a signal far deeper than any business strategy. It aligns his inner frequency with the law of increase. You can do the same. Before you close your eyes tonight, strip away everything that's temporary, your worries, your failures, your plans. Speak only what is eternal. Speak principle, not panic. Tell yourself, my wealth is not coming, it is already flowing. My ideas do not chase success, success finds them. My rest is productive, my stillness multiplies. Say it until your breathing slows, until every muscle begins to understand. You are not convincing the mind, You are reminding it of its original design. It was never meant to dwell in scarcity. It was built to expand. Buffett's quiet genius comes from his refusal to let fear occupy mental real estate. Fear cannot build, it only consumes. Faith constructs. Every night, choose construction over consumption. And when you practice this, you'll notice that sleep itself changes texture. It will stop feeling like escape and start feeling like incubation. You'll wake not groggy, but guided. You'll find your mind already working for you before you've had your coffee. The subconscious has no concept of time. It builds while you rest. Buffett wakes each morning clear, not because of luck, but because his nights are ordered. He not reacting to the world is reacting to him. His consistency sends a vibration so precise that opportunity can find him even in silence. The same will happen to you. The universe loves instruction. It loves certainty. Give it oath and it shape itself rare your declarations. You'll begin to realize that this practice is not about wealth alone. It's about dominion, the ability to command your inner state regardless of outer conditions. When you can end a day of setbacks by speaking victory, you've become untouchable. When you can face uncertainty and whisper certainty into the night, you've entered mastery. Buffett doesn't need external reassurance, as his mind is already convinced that what you are building is a self-sustaining system of belief that no failure can corrupt. Each night is a renewal of that contract between you and creation. You speak, the subconscious obeys, and the universe aligns. So tonight, you lie there between wakefulness and sleep. Understand that you are standing at the gates of your own fortune. Your next thought is the key that opens it. Choose carefully. Speak. Add one already chosen. Let your last words before sleep be your riches. Say them with calm command. I am guided. I am rich in spirit. I am wealthy in peace. My fortune multiplies even now. Then close your eyes, knowing that the builder has begun his work. And when the dawn breaks, your reality will begin to match the rhythm of your belief. Most men will never grasp the secret power of the hours after midnight. Not because it is hidden, but because they never slow down long enough to feel it. They treat sleep as an inconvenience, a rake from production, instead of what it truly is, the sacred transition where thoughts turn into things. The greatest creators of wealth have always understood this. They knew the day is for action, but the night is for programming. Buffett doesn't end his days scrolling through headlines or staring into chaos. He ends them organizing the invisible machinery of his subconscious. His discipline is quiet, and that's why it's invincible. It speaks wealth not once, but continuously, until even in his dreams, his thoughts compound his investments. His riches are the result of a mind that never contradicts itself. There is no war between his waking words and his sleeping whispers. Every part of him is aligned to one truth. Wealth follows order, and order begins in the silence before sleep. The reason most men struggle is not because they lack talent. It's because they hand their minds over to noise. They fall asleep replaying arguments, replaying failures, replaying the day losses. They feed their subconscious images of limitation, and then they wonder why life keeps repeating itself. They build the same walls every night and wake up trapped inside them every morning. Buffett builds something else. He builds frameworks of calm. He builds images of certainty. He builds a future so vivid in thought that reality has no choice but to mirror it. Before he rests, he reviews his principles the way a general reviews his orders. Not emotionally, not anxiously, but with precision. Don't lose money. Be patient. Value over noise. These are not mottos. They are command. His subconscious receives them at divine law. And while he sleeps, his fortune quietly grows under their governance. If you could look inside the mind of a master, you would see chaos, you would see structure. Every thought placed intentionally, every worry dismissed before it takes root. That what the night must become for you, a place of design. When you lie in bed, do not drift, direct, do not react, command. The moment between wakefulness and sleep is the most fertile ground for creation. Neuroscientists will call it the theta state. Mystics will call it communion with the infinite. It doesn't matter what you name it. What matters is what you plant there. That moment decides your momentum. If you fill it with gratitude and certainty, the world bends toward your favor. If you fill it with fear, life will find ways to prove you right. Sleep. The law doesn't discriminate, it simply fulfills. Buffett never forgets that his consistency is not luck and law in motion, and they tell you something most will never believe. Wealth is emotional before it is financial. The feeling you carry into sleep becomes the state you wake in, and that state decides your decisions. Buffett sleeps with calm certainty, so he wakes with clarity. Most sleep with doubt, so they wake with hesitation. You cannot take bold moves in a hesitant state. You cannot spot opportunity with fearful eyes. The fortune belongs to the one who can train his emotions to serve his purpose. The night is your training ground. Every evening you must rewrite the story you told yourself that day. If you failed, speak victory anyway. If you lost, speak restoration. If you were ignored, speak influence. This isn't denial, it's rent. You are alerting your inner system to build solutions, not replay sorrows. Buffett does this naturally. His sense of optimism isn't delusion, it's discipline. He has taught his mind to see order where others see chaos, patterns where others see panic. And that is the beautiful part. The subconscious loves repetition more than reason. You don't need to convince it with evidence. You only need to convince it with consistency. Say a theme enough times and it begin to shape itself around that. The world calls this manifestation. Buffett calls it compound interest. The principle is identical. Small inputs repeated daily produce exponential outcomes. Every night you say, I am wealthy, you are making a deposit into the account of belief. Every morning you wake with that belief slightly stronger. It becomes an investment portfolio. Belief grows geometrically. It begins invisible and ends undeniable. The only difference between the man who hopes and the man who becomes is that the latter never misses his nightly deposit. Buffett doesn't skip principles. You must not skip practice. So head your assignment, Almasi. But sleep construct your ledger. Not of money, but of thought. Review the profits and losses of your mind. Where did you invest energy dead that brought no return? Where did you plant a seed of doubt that must now be uprooted? Clean, awful, clear it, then replace it. Say aloud with conviction, my wealth grows even when I rest. My mind compounds while I sleep. My ideas are magnets for opportunity. My patience is my profit. Speak it at truth, not hope. Feel it reality, not rehearsal. The subconscious obeys tone before logic. Speak like a man who expects to be obeyed. And you begin this nightly audit, something subtle will shift. You'll notice your mornings begin sharper, your decisions cleaner. Opportunities you used to overlook will learn to walk toward you. You will no longer chase clarity. Clarity will meet you halfway. You'll begin to feel a calm, certainty that no amount of uncertainty can disturb. That when you'll know the law is working. That when you'll realize Buffett's secret was never his investments, it was his emotional neutrality, born from nightly order. His fortune is only the visible half of his mastery. The invisible half is this ritual, closing the day in discipline, commanding the subconscious to build in alignment, and waking up to the evidence of his own mental compound. Every night is an instruction. Every sleep is a meeting between you and the infinite. Do not miss that meeting. Do not send your subconscious into the night without direction. If you don't command it, the world will. The whispers of fear, the noise of failure, the opinions of others. They are all waiting for an invitation. Close the door. Speak first. Speak last. Let your words be the final vibration the universe hears before your consciousness fades. Then rest like a man whose work is already done, because in truth, it is. The moment you hand your mind the right blueprint, the build has already begun. And one day, not far from now, you'll wake up and realize something extraordinary. Your wealth did not arrive all at once. It accumulated in silence, brick by brick, belief by belief. While you slept, your mind never stopped constructing the empire you ordered it to build. You didn't chase it, you became it. The night obeyed you because you spoke with authority. The Kelpian and the Weirdemore. The moment you hand your mind the right blueprint, the build has already begun. And one day, not far from now, you'll wake up and realize something extraordinary. Your wealth did not arrive all at once. It accumulated in silence, brick by brick, belief by belief. While you slept, your mind never stopped constructing the empire you ordered it to build. You didn't chase it, you became it. The night obeyed you because you spoke with authority. And now the world begins to see what you've quietly built. You'll understand the oldest law of all men: do not dream because they're asleep. They dream because they finally remembered who gives the command. There is a point in every man's life when he realizes that the mind is not merely a vessel, it is a kingdom. And each night before he sleeps, he either strengthens that kingdom or lets it crumble. Buffett strengthens his. He doesn't feed his mind the scraps of the day. He feeds it instruction that the real reason he seems untouchable to market chaos, immune to panic. He built his mind like a fortress long before the world had tested it. Every brick was a belief laid deliberately, every wall a repetition of discipline. And while others read financial reports, he reads the patterns of his own thinking. He inspects them nightly, repairs the cracks, and fortifies his foundation because he understands a truth most men never learn. Yet your external fortune is only the stable lead your internal framework. If your thoughts are brittle, your wealth will be too. You must start to see your nightly routine aid the most powerful investment you will make. You can lose money, rebuild it, lose it again, and still come back stronger. But a mind left undisciplined will lose itself and never notice. Buffett's genius lies not in numbers, but in the repetition of certainty. Every evening he tells his mind what it must remember and what it must forget. He forgets the noise, the opinions, the temporary wins and losses. He remembers only the principle, only the purpose. You must do the same. Before you sleep, don't review your failures, review your philosophy. Don't replay your mistakes, replay your mission. Speak the laws that govern your inner world. Patience multiplies. Fear costs. Focus compounds. Repeat these until your thoughts align like soldiers before dawn. The night is not a retreat. It is a reset. It's the closing bell of the market inside your head. The final audit before your subconscious takes over the books. You must hand at clean numbers, not emotional debts. Most men hand their minds a deficit, regret, worry, shame, and expect to wake in profit. That not wealth works. Your subconscious is an accountant that only deals in truth. If you give it confusion, it'd balance that confusion into your life. Buffett gives his mind clarity. He ends his day in the black always, not because he avoids losses, but as he refuses to carry them into the night. He reconciles his thoughts the way he reconciles a balance sheet, with precision and peace. Understand this deeply. The richest man is not the one who controls the most assets, but the one who controls the final 5 minutes before sleep. Those 5 minutes decide the next 12 hours of subconscious labor. They determine whether you wake up with direction or disarray. They are the window when the mind writes the next chapter of your story. That's why Buffett doesn't leave them to chance. His ritual is sacred. Then reviews his day only through the lens of growth. If something went wrong, he doesn't curse it, he categorizes is. If something went right, he doesn't idolize it, he studies is. The night to him is not for judgment, it's for rent. Every thought must serve a purpose or it doesn't belong. You must learn to treat your thoughts like currency. Each one carries value. Each one either appreciates or depreciates the longer you hold it. Doubt is inflation. It quietly erodes your inner wealth. Faith is investment. It multiplies in silence. And like Buffett, you must diversify not your assets, but your absence. Don't rely on one belief to carry you. Build a portfolio of thoughts that protect you from the storms of life. When fear strikes, your belief in patience hedges it. When scarcity tempts you, your belief in gratitude balances it. When uncertainty rises, your belief in order grounds it. This is the architecture of a stable mind, and it built every night before rest. Let Ned make this plain. You are always programming something. There is no neutral. If you are not instructing your mind, it is being instructed by everything else of advertisements, conversations, doubts, distractions. The subconscious doesn't ask for permission, it absorbs. It listens to the last vibration of your day and assumes that what you want multiplies. So take back authorship. Don't let your life be ghostwritten by noise. Speak the last word. Before your eyes close, reclaim your authority. Whisper it if you must, but mean it. I am wealthy in purpose. I am disciplined in thought. I am unmoved by fear. I rest in abundance. These are not amen. They are signatures. You are signing off your day as the sovereign of your own mind. Buffett would tell you, compound doesn't require genius, only consistency. The same law applies to thought. A sin night of clarity won't change your life. 1,000 nights of repetition will. That's how belief compounds quietly, invisibly, until one day it becomes undeniable. At first, the world won't notice your change. You'll still wake up in the same room, still see the same problems. But beneath the surface, something will be reorganizing. The molecules of your life will begin to move around your new direction. You'll find yourself making different choices without trying. You'll start attracting conversations that confirm your focus. You'll begin to sense that wealth isn't coming. It's already orbiting you, waiting for you to command it. That is when you'll understand why Buffett never chased fortune, he magnetized it. The world mistook his patience for luck, but patience is just faith that refuses to rush. He knew the same law that governs money governs thought. It compounds in the dark. Each night of deliberate instruction adds invisible value. Each morning of calm response increases the yield. The man who speaks his future before sleep will one day wake to find it built. So tonight, ere the noise of the day dissolves and your mind soft-fet like wet clay, don't waste the opportunity. Shape it. Don't let fatigue write your script. Write it yourself. The world may measure wealth in numbers, but the universe measures is in vibration. Set that vibration before you sleep. Say it softly, steadily, like a prayer you've already seen fulfilled. My future is secure. My fortune is forming. My rest is not escape, it is expansion. Every night I multiply. Every morning I rise richer than before. And when you speak those words, speak them with reverence, because you are not just talking to yourself. You are talking to the system that builds everything. It listens always. Some men end their nights defeated, their minds cluttered with noise and their hearts weighed by the dull ache of unfulfilled potential. Others, though, walk into the darkness like it a throne room. They understand that the mind, when quieted, becomes divine. Buffett belongs to that second kind. To him, sleep isn't surrender, it's strategy. When the world sleeps, he sets the compass of his spirit. He hands his subconscious the map and tells it, build in this direction. That's why his clarity never fades, why his patience never cracks. His success is not the result of 1,000 frantic moves, but of 1,000 calm nights where his thoughts were sharpened into instruction. He doesn't fall asleep hoping for a better tomorrow. He falls asleep certain that his mind is already constructing it. That certainty, that quiet command is what separates the rich from the restless. You see, most people treat their final thoughts like leftovers. Whatever's still on the plate at the end of the day gets tossed into the subconscious without care. But the mind is not a garbage bin, it's a generator. It'll multiply whatever you give it. Fear becomes patterns. Worry becomes habits. Doubt becomes circumstance. The universe only mirrors what most repeated within you. Buffett knows this, and that's why he guards his repetition like a sacred ritual. He doesn't let a single anxious thought cross the threshold of his rest. He inspects every idea like a gatekeeper, allowing only those worthy of growth. You must become the same. Before you close your eyes, scan your mind, audit your beliefs. Ask yourself, is this thought one I want to see multiply? If not, dismiss it. Replace it. The mind soil is too fertile to waste on weeds. The secret is not merely in speaking wealth, but in speaking it until silence agrees with you. Buffett mind has heard the same principles so often that they've become his reflex. He doesn't need to remind himself not to panic when markets crash. His subconscious already knows how to stand still. It programmed into him through decades of mental compound, but you can reach that same state. At first, it'd feel forced, almost artificial. You'll whisper for a moment, feel resistance. That natural. The old programming will try to fight back, but keep going. Every repetition, week, the old code and strengthens the new one. Just as a muscle grows under pressure, belief grows under persistence. One day, you'll realize the new thoughts have replaced the old without effort. Your inner world will run on a new operating system, one written by intention, not inheritance. Remember this, you cannot sleep your way to wealth, but you can think your way to it before you sleep. The subconscious never rests. It is a tireless laborer that builds what you tell it to. Buffett's fortune wasn't born in a market crash or a lucky investment. It was built over decades of mental alignment. His beliefs and his behavior never contradicted each other. That's the true definition of integrity, not moral righteousness, but energetic consistency. When your thoughts, words, and actions all vibrate at the same frequency, reality can't help but harmonize with them. That's what Buffett mastered. When he says something, the universe listens, not because he's lucky, but because his inner world is unified. There's no static, no inner debate, no mental clutter. He speaks with authority because his thoughts have already obeyed. Most men live as slaves to their moods. They wait for motivation to move them. Buffett lives as a master of momentum. He doesn't depend on emotion, he depends on order. Before he sleeps, he organizes his beliefs. He reviews his principles like a craftsman sharpening his tools. You must learn to do the same. Each night, ask yourself, what did I think today that served D? What did I think that sabotaged me? Then correct it. Forgive the noise, but don't ignore it. Replace it with design. The more intentional your last thought, the more predictable your next victory. Sleep will no longer be an interruption in your ambition. It will become the engine that drives it. And in the paradox that only the wise grasp, the calmer your mind becomes before sleep, the faster your results manifest. Rest is the richest currency. Buffett doesn't rush because he knows that wealth responds to alignment, not anxiety. A restless mind repels fortune. A peaceful one attracts it. That's why when others panic, he remains still. His stillness is not laziness, it's mastery. He has conditioned his subconscious to remain composed in storms. That kind of poise can only be built at night in the hours when no one is watching. The man who controls his silence controls his world. If you want to live like that, create your nightly ritual as if your life depends on it, because it does. Before bed, speak your laws aloud, not timidly, but ped decrees. I am wealth. I am clarity. I am patience embodied. I do not chase, I attract. I do not doubt, I die. Repeat them until your words no longer sound as hopes but act facts. The subconscious doesn't understand time. It only understands truth. Feed it a truth oft enough, and it did begin. Did immediately. The next morning, your decisions will align. Your opportunities will recognize you. Your energy will magnetize new results. That's how the invisible becomes visible. There's a reason the world sees Buffett unshaken. It calls his nights are unbroken. He goes to sleep in peace and wakes in power. You can do the same. The process is simple, but it requires devotion. You must make every night a closing ceremony and every morning an opening bell. The man who lives this way no longer competes. He commands, because when you sleep in alignment, you rise in authority. Every problem feels smaller. Every challenge feels solvable. And your wealth, both internal and external, grows like a tree water in secret. So tonight, before you fade into the stillness, remember this truth. The day begins when the night is mastered. The fortune you seek is not waiting for you in the world. It's waiting for you in your subconscious. The man who can sleep with discipline will wake with dominion. Whisper this one final command before you close your eyes. Everything I touch multiplies. My rest is a transaction with abundance. My dreams are instructions written in light. I sleep the builder of my destiny, not the beggar of chance. Say it until you feel peace. Take the place of fear. Then sleep, not then an escape from the world, but as the author of it. When you begin to master this discipline, something profound happens. The night no longer feels like darkness. It becomes a vast and quiet classroom as the laws of the universe reveal themselves to those who are listening. Buffett understood this early in his life, long before the world lauded him a genius. He knew that while others used their nights for distraction, he would use his for design. His fortune was first written in that invisible place where repetition meets belief, with thought hard dead into form. Every quiet hour spent refining his principles became another layer of the foundation on which his empire stands. Didn't wish himself rich. He thought himself rich, believed himself steady, and then lived in harmony with that belief. You can call it faith, discipline, or spiritual arithmetic, but the result is the same. The subconscious only builds what it is told to build, and Buffett gave it no conflicting instructions. You have that same tool, but you must learn to wield it with the same reverence. Most people speak to their minds as if they were scolding a child, harsh, impatient, uncertain. The subconscious doesn't respond to fear, it responds to conviction. When you whisper your intentions before sleep, you are not negotiating with fate, you are commanding creation. Speak with authority. Let your tone carry certainty, not doubt.
Your words are not mere sounds, they are frequencies that inform every unseen mechanism around you.
Buffett never said maybe, please. He said I buy when others sell. The world thought it was confidence, but it was something deeper. It was command. His subconscious had been trained to hear those words. Being law, every cell, every instinct, every pattern in him obeyed. That what makes men like him mean superhuman. They are simply consistent in what they repeat. At night, when your mind is soft and the world's static fades, you have a choice, drift or direct. Drifting is what the masses do. They close their eyes, filled with unfinished arguments, unpaid bills, and unresolved fears. They replay what went wrong and call it reflection. But reflection without brenching becomes repetition, and repetition builds reality. Buffett directs. His reflection ends with purpose. He doesn't deny mistakes. He extracts instruction from them, then hands those instructions to his subconscious. Next time, wait longer. Don't rush value. Be patient. What plants those corrections, the seeds, knowing they'll bloom into better decisions later. That's the power of mental agriculture. You harvest what you plant, not what you hope for. And yet most people hope louder than they think. They talk of change, but their nightly words betray them. I'm so unlucky. I can't catch a break. Tomorrow will be another hard day. They think they're venting, but they're instructing. The subconscious doesn't know sarcasm. It only knows repetition. Say it enough, and life will make it true. Buffett wealth began with a vocabulary of abundance, not because he was naive, but because he understood that reality is loyal to language. Speak scarcity and you'll train your eyes to see only shortage. Speak abundance and your eyes will begin to notice opportunity hiding in plain sight. He conditioned his perception to favor profit. You must condition yours the same way. That conditioning begins not in the morning hustle, but in the quiet rehearsal before sleep. When the conscious mind grows drowsy, the gate to the subconscious opens wide. That's your window. In those moments, emotion fuses with imagination. That's when belief is easiest to install. Don't waste it. Don't close your eyes to chaos. Close them to clarity. Imagine what you wish to build, not at fantasy, but at a scene already unfolding. Feel the calm of success, the gratitude of purpose, the certainty of progress. Then seal it with a single command. This is mine, and I am ready for it. That's the difference between wishing and wiring. Buffett doesn't wish, he wires his mind to act, though the desired result is inevitable. Because his subconscious knows no separation between thought and fact. His world moved to match that belief. Every night that you do this, you are reshaping the architecture of your life. The first few days we feel subtle. You'll notice small coincidences, ideas arriving at the perfect moment, people offering help unprompted, money flowing from unexpected places. Don't dismiss them as luck. They are proof that your instruction has reached the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Keep going. The longer you persist, the more precise your reality becomes. Buffett's patience comes from knowing this. He never forces the fruit before it rip pit. He trusts that what he has planted must, by law, bear fruit in season. He sleeps not with impatience, but with faith. The kind of faith that isn't emotional, it's structural. He knows what he built inside will eventually show out. And when that happens to you, when you begin to see your thoughts mirrored in the events of your life, your entire relationship with the night will change. You will no longer dread it. You'll look forward to it, like an artist eager to return to his canvas. You'll realize that every night you get to reprogram your destiny, line by line, belief by belief. The world outside is only the projection of that private film playing behind your eyelids. Buffett edits his every night, carefully cutting out fear, trimming hesitation, sharpening focus. That's why his days feel so coherent. He has already edited them before they began. Take tonight, will you give yourself to the stillness? Pause for a moment and listen. Not to the noise of the day, but to the quiet hum of creation waiting for direction. Then speak, not softly, but clear. Tell your mind what to build. I live in wealth, because I live in order. My rest restores me and multiplies me. My subconscious is a faithful servant, building my future even in I sleep. Say it until you feel your body relax, until your heart rate slows and your breath steadies, that when you'll know the instruction has been received. From that moment on, trust the process. Don't check on the seed, just keep planting. Night after night, thought after thought, And the seasons of your life begin to shift, you'll look back and realize that your empire didn't rise through effort alone. It rose through alignment, through thousands of nights where your words met your faith and your faith met your patience. That is the real compound, the compound of consciousness. Buffett may measure in dollars, but its true currency is peace. Peace that produces precision, precision that produces prosperity, all of it built in silence. There comes a moment somewhere between wakefulness and dream, where the veil between thought and creation thins. It not imagination, it instruction. It the exact moment Buffett learned to command, not request, his reality. That twilight zone where the subconscious listens most closely, where emotion carries the weight of law. The world calls it drifting to sleep. He calls it programming, the engine of destiny. If you learn to master it, if you learn to hold your mind steady in that moment of transition, you will wield a power that few understand. Because in that space you are not small, you are source. Your words are not wishes, they are designs. Your emotions are not feelings, they are forces. Buffett steps into that moment every night with the same calm certainty as a builder stepping onto his land, knowing tomorrow with skyline is already drawn. The foundation is laid in silence, but the results roar in daylight. Most men fill that silence with noise. They grab their phones, flood their senses with flickering distraction, and then wonder why their lives feel out of rhythm. But your mind cannot serve two masters. It will either build from your focus or from your fragmentation. Buffett protects that hour before sleep like gold. It is his meeting with himself, his conference with creation. He strips his thoughts down to essentials, gratitude, discipline, order, and lets nothing else cross that threshold. That's why his fortune feels inevitable. His inner world leaves no space for contradiction. His mind is a closed circuit of belief. Every thought reinforces the last, every word sharp pep the next. You can create that same circuit. Begin tonight. Do not drift into sleep like a leaf carried by the wind. Walk into it like a man who knows his words shape worlds. There's a reason so many never rise. They live by chance and sleep by chaos. They waste the richest hours of their existence pouring poison into their subconscious. You've seen them. They replay the day frustrations until fatigue drowns them. They argue with ghosts of conversations long gone. They hand their subconscious confusion, and it spends the night multiplying it. Then they wake up wondering why their world still feels heavy. They are not cursed. They are simply undisciplined. Buffett is the opposite. His discipline is invisible but absolute. He doesn't go to war with his mind. He trains it to obey. And obedience begins with repetition. Repetition creates rhythm, and rhythm becomes realities. The man who can control his nightly rhythm will never again live in disorder. Think of it like this. Every night is a negotiation between your old self and your emerging self. The old self wants to replay, to complain, to retreat. The emerging self wants to command, to expand, to evolve. Which one wins depends on the tone of your final thought. Buffett lets the old self speak only to learn from it, never to lead. Then he silences it with command. He ends each day the way a king ends a meeting, with direction, not doubt. That is what you must do. Don't just lie there reviewing your life like a spectator. Close your eyes like a strategist. Tell your mind what tomorrow will hold. See yourself moving through it with precision. Feel gratitude beat if it were already complete. That is not delusion. It is decision. Your subconscious doesn't understand someday. It only understands now. That's why Buffett never speaks in hypotheticals. He doesn't say, I be wealthy. He says, I am wealthy because I am disciplined. The tense man is. The subconscious obeys what you declare, present, not what you promise and future. So when you lie in bed tonight, speak in absolutes. I am wealthy. I am calm. I am faith. I am consistent. My mind compounds value even while I sleep. Speak it until the words stop sounding like affirmation and start sounding like identity. That is the crossing weight, the moment when repetition transforms belief and belief transforms being. And let me tell you a truth plainly in daylight. The man who ends his nights with certainty will never wake in confusion. Life bends to those who give it clear instructions. Buffett doesn't wake up and wonder how to think. His subconscious hands him the plan. It already been drafted overnight. His energy is not wasted in hesitation. It is reserved for execution. That's why he moves slower but achieves faster. His mind isn't cluttered with noise, streamlined by conviction. He doesn't need to force momentum because momentum is built into his mental software. You can install the Say Sip. It begins with those sacred minutes before sleep. Your faith writes tomorrow's schedule. Understand, too, that this practice is not just about money, it's about mastery. Wealth is simply one reflection of order. If your nights are disordered, your wealth will mirror that chaos.
Your nights are structured, your life will. Oh, this is the secret pattern behind all high achievers. Their routines are not rituals of vanity, they are rituals of alignment. Buffett peace, his patience, his legendary calm, they were sculpted in silence. They are the dividends of deliberate thought. He doesn't need to hype himself to act. He has trained his subconscious to move in harmony with his higher vision. That's why success doesn't surprise him. It feels familiar, because he rehearsed it every night long before it arrived. You can begin the same rehearsal tonight. When the world quiets and you're left alone with your thoughts, let gratitude be your closing bell. Thank the day for what it taught you, even the hard lessons. Thank your mind for its work, your body for its strength, your spirit for its resilience. Gratitude is the frequency of receivership. It tunes you to abundance.
Then move to declaration. Choose 3 truths that govern your next sunrise. They might sound to this. I am prepared for opportunity. I act with clarity. I live by principle, not pressure. Say them with stillness, not strain. You're not trying to convince, you're confirming. Then you begin to drift. Imagine the feeling of those truths, though they are already real. Feel the weight of them settle into your chest like anchors of certainty. And then let go. Let the subconscious take over. It knows what to do. You have handed it the blueprint, and now it builds while you rest. That's the real miracle of the mind. It doesn't need your supervision. It only needs your instruction. Buffett trusts his sis so deeply because he tested it for a lifetime. You will, too. One night at a time, one thought at a time, you'll begin to feel the world reshaping itself around your new rhythm. Wealth will come, yes, but so will something rarer, peace. Not the shallow calm that comes from comfort, but the deep stillness of a man who knows he commands the unseen. That stillness is power. That stillness is wealth. So tonight, before you close your eyes, don't ask the world for anything. Instead, tell it what already true. I am guided, I am abundant, I am building in silence. I sleep not to escape life, but to expand it. Speak it once, breathe deeply, and know that the gears have begun to turn. Your subconscious is already at work, and tomorrow will rise to meet the image you built in the dark.